Alright, there we go. What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another live stream right here on the YouTube channel. How are we doing today, ladies and gents? Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know if you can hear me okay and if you can see me okay. We've got a, we've got a little bit of price action today. So this is going to be fun. Bitcoin has, of course, continued its dump here. So we're going to be covering that in this live stream. As we are going, ladies and gents, we can hear you. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and if you can see me okay with the chart here as well. Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gents. Smash up the likes as you are coming in. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to come trickle into this live stream before we really kick this off. We have got the chart open on the 1 minute time frame here. I'm going to stick to this chart because I like the lines and boxes I've drawn a little bit better. And we can get a bit of a view of what exactly is going on. This is obviously a big level to lose. This is very important. So we're going to be covering this throughout this live stream. Welcome to the stream, ladies and gents. Smash up the likes if you are excited to kick this one off. Let's see who we've got in the live chat today. ICP Plumber with the very first live chat comment here, saying, I bet he's walking. Get those steps in, Sammy. You already know it, mate. We hit like 8,000 steps before I even went to sleep last night, so we're chilling. But why stop there? I actually was about to start my cardio session, and I saw Bitcoin dipping, and I was like, you know what? The only thing more important than cardio is Bitcoin. So here we are. SD asking how low are we going. We are going to be covering that in this live stream. I've got a lot of thoughts I want to share with you guys. This is literally the most critical moment in the market that I think we've had for a long time. Much more important than when we were at $72,000. So I'm definitely excited for that. Ladies and gents, smash those likes up and we'll be getting started in just a second. Shout out to Alex from Portugal. Hope all good on your end. Yes, sir, it is. Shout out to the Portuguese viewers in the live chat today. We got Nazirul Faiz from Malaysia. El Thoro, there he is when we need him the most. What's up, Darren Kirby? Where's the next support? About here, 64, 63. There's a few different support levels. We'll be covering that in just a moment. What's up, guys? Max Damon Productions, all good, sounds good, looks good. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Should have sold in March. Fed up with this now. Ian, mate, you might be very happy that you haven't sold in a few months. I have a feeling you might be. I certainly will be. I think so. I think I'm going to be pretty happy that I'm not selling in a few months from now. That's my take. What's up, guys? Greeting from London. What's up? What's up to the viewers in London town? I bet London's nice this time of year. Only half of the rain that you usually get. I woke up happy and got out of office crying. 45k possible. Zeno saying moon. Sammy's bullish. What's up, Rudy? Ladies and gents, as you are coming in here, do me a favor and smash up those likes. We're going to get started now. Thank you all for tuning in. Before we do get in, do me a favor and make sure that you have subscribed to the YouTube channel. Many of you guys are going to want to watch these live streams when this price action is hot. But you're not going to be able to if you're not subscribed. So, it was raining this morning in London. Of course it was. Of course it was. It was sunny here in Dubai. Sorry, I don't mean to rub it in. Yeah. So if you wanna keep catching these streams, definitely make sure you are subscribed. What a wild time from Coventry. Crypto Kirby, we need you. Crypto Kirby, if you're watching this stream, we missed the fucking shit out of you. Very sunny here in Cali, as always. God's favorite part of the planet, for sure. At least before humans inhabited it. Well, before the Americans. Let's kick this off. Thank you all for tuning in, ladies and gents. We've got some really exciting price action here. We've got some more walk and treadmill action here. And we have lost Bitcoin's most critical zone of support. Just curious, by the way, where are we at? Ladies and gents, we need to pump those likes up a little bit higher. We're not even at 100 yet. Smash up those likes if you are excited for this. But yeah, we did see a very important 67k support level provide us with a nice big bounce here. This is the exact bounce that I was mentioning would be very tradable with a stop loss. One of the viewers told me that I said the stop loss that I would use would be right here. And look at where that wick went. So I said that my stop loss would be at the very, very bottom of this blue box. We did not reach there. That trade setup went phenomenally. In fact, if you were paying attention, I was talking about a 30% profit being enough. And, you know, from basically any entry, it would have been hard not to make a 30% profit because I was talking about 10x leverage. So that was super, super cool. I personally did not get in this. I don't feel the need to trade everything I see. But I know that some viewers did make money off this move. So shout out to those of you that did. And an even more special shout out to those of you that took advantage of what am I looking at? This is the wrong video. That took advantage of the Bybit Blowfin link stuff in the description below right here. So you are getting access to Blowfin, which does not require KYC, and thousands of dollars in bonuses when you sign up using this link and start trading. Bybit remains the best in the game, and they are giving you up to $30,000. So that is super, super cool. Oh, we are on the wrong page here. So this is the correct page. And yeah, so that was super, super cool. But unfortunately, the support was short-lived. We only managed to get that one bounce, and then we traded down here. And what I was telling you guys, let me know in the live chat if you remember this, because we have been 100% accurate for quite some time here on this YouTube channel. These things just can't really take us by surprise. We've been doing this for over 7 years. I think my team combined, yeah, I mean, like well over 10 years of experience, well over 15 years probably of experience in these markets now. So that's absolutely sick. And that's just the core of us. You know, I was mentioning that if we come back down here, I would be expecting the support level to get a little bit mushy. And I wouldn't be able to expect that the price supports itself one more time. Because we've already tested it a good few times. And I mean, it's definitely a good zone of support. And we have even more support below us, so that's good. But yeah, I think that the writing was on the wall. You know, the more you test these levels, and especially considering that we had tested it, you know, within a 25-day period, we counted like, I mean, in terms of kind of macro tests of this level, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one was what broke. But if you want to get a little bit more picky with it, you can definitely say that, for example, this and this, that these were two separate hits of support. And you can even count all of these as well, and the number starts inflating and getting quite high. So clearly we have tested the 67k level quite a lot, and I think that that's one of the key reasons we saw it break. Now, as usual, what we understand about support levels, because on this YouTube channel we're always going for the most grounded, realistic approach that we can take, that's obviously critically important to me, and I hope that it's critically important for you, because the more seriously you take these kind of things, the more likely you are to actually position yourself to make money, and the less likely you are to panic. So very, very important stuff in my opinion. With this very grounded, realistic style of approach that we take on this YouTube channel, we understand that typically if you lose a zone of support, you are going to fall down to the next zone of support. And right now, a lot of people are actually singing the song of $65,000 being our zone of support. I disagree, but I want to tell you why they're saying that anyway. I think our support is a little bit lower. But more realistically, given the fact that we've lost 67k, to me, that strongly indicates 60k is on the way. Again, for some reason, people aren't even talking about 60k. They're saying that if we lose these levels, we're down to the 50s. I don't think so. I don't even understand why people are saying that. So I'm gonna cover it with you anyway, because you might actually disagree with me. You might agree with what most people are saying. But I've got a really big problem, ladies and gents. We've got 500-600 viewers and not even 100 likes on the live stream. So let's pump them up if you are excited for this one. The more you guys interact with the stream, the more we get pushed out. And the longer I'm here with you guys, the more likely we are to be live during some volatility. So If you do find them useful, do me a favor and smash them up. It does count, I promise you. It makes a big difference. And if you don't want to, of course, that's totally cool. Let's continue here. So what I'm actually going to do to demonstrate these things to you is I'm going to take a look at a naked chart that I've never actually drawn on, because I want to kind of illustrate to you where I think these key levels could be again, with a much more fresh perspective, okay? So we're going to do it here on this particular chart. I didn't pick it for any particular reason. And I want to cover with you where these support levels might be. Now, the first thing that everybody's talking about, and I'm going to talk about it now because we're close to it, is 65k flat. Again, like I said, this is the support level that I don't really understand why everybody's kind of singing its song. I don't think that that's super necessary. But we do have some really nice bounces and rejections coming off this level. The reason I don't really like 65 is because I think 67 is so much more important. This is about 66.6, and I'll demonstrate to you why. So, clearly both levels have produced reversals, but what I'm most interested in is where do the strongest reversals come in from, okay? So, I'm going to give you a great example. Here, we produced a reversal off the 65k level, but the market only came down by 3%. Here, we produced a reversal and the market came down by 10%, or from the very same level the next time, the market came down by 15%. So obviously, that's a slightly cherry-picked example, but if you go ahead and do this yourself, and you really should, you shouldn't rely on me, you will see that clearly 67k is where the biggest reversals take place, okay? And so when we're looking at a situation where you've got one level where you're clearly getting bigger reversals than another level, right? And by the way, we're not just interested in resistance, right? So resistance here or resistance here. We're also interested in where does the market find support. And if you're looking for support, you've got this here. You've got a very small one here, although it did result in a good bit of price action. And that's kind of it, right? But off the 67k level, I think you're getting much more regular interaction. So for me, there's just a stronger case for the 67k level. And why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this because if you've got a strong level of support here and a weaker level of support below, if you lose that strong level, I personally am not able to expect that the weaker level will hold. That's just the way that I do my analysis, okay? I'm actually anticipating that if you lose an important level of support, you're probably not going to be able to hold on to the weaker levels of support below it. Everyone's asking, why am I walking? Ladies and gents, I'm just getting the steps in. That's all it is. I've got a little walking treadmill below here. Doing two things at once. It's not easy to get 15, 20k steps in per day. You gotta fit it in as much as you can. And it's gonna be awkward. But if you're dedicated, it's gonna work. And I'm trying to get fit. That's basically what it is. So if you do like the effort here, do me a favor and smash them up. Where are we at? We're 170 likes. Thank you all very much. That is that basically doubled. So thank you all very much for smashing them up. And let's go back to the price action here. So, you know, and that's why I'm not super optimistic about 67. It's because, I'm sorry, 65. It's because we already lost the important level. Now, that said, it's clearly still important, but here's another way we can actually judge how important this level is. We can take the fixed range volume profile tool, and that's what I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to be making a dedicated video on this tool. Let me know in the live chat right now if you want a dedicated video on this tool. I'll show you how to get it, how to use it, and everything. Please let me know in the live chat now, just so I can get a kind of idea, an informal poll, so to speak, from you guys on if you want a video on this particular tool. And I will go through that. We did get a live chat. I'm going to go through that in just a super chat. I'm going to go through that in just a second. But yeah, if we take a look at this, you know, clearly there was a big spike right here. And this spike stretched basically exactly where my box was on my previous chart. Obviously, we see all this shit coming. We see it from miles away. The market cannot surprise us. That's just not how it works. It doesn't happen. And, you know, we lost this big box. Again, I'm just going to draw it to you with a box because it's so obvious when you see it this way. The spike is, you know, quite big, basically, you know, from, what is this, 68,000 down to 66.8, right? And you can stretch it a little bit lower if you really want to, and it would be fine to do that. you could stretch it down to about here, and that puts you at 66K, right? So it depends on how generous you want to be with the range. I'm happy with keeping it right here. And what we can see, actually, I'm just going to take it ever so slightly lower, just down to here. So that's 66.7. And what we can see is that the next spike comes in here, okay? And it basically peaks right at the value area low. And so this is quite easy to recognize as a valley in the VPVR right here, right? So when you start getting these spikes, I'm just curious to look back in the live chat now. Do you guys actually want to see a video on this? A little bit of interest, not too much interest in it. So, you know, we can do it, but famous last words, the market can't surprise you. Well, you know, look, I understand that it's a bit of a silly thing to say. It's very cocky, it's very arrogant. So, you know, obviously I don't mean it fully. I'm just, you know, I'm on YouTube. You know, I'm messing around a little bit. But you know, the reason I said that is because we're actually planning for all. I mean, look, the price can either go up or down. You know, and we're just planning for both directions, and it's not that hard. If you've been watching this channel for a few weeks, a few months, a few years, I mean, we've been doing this since 2018 on this channel. You'll know that it's not actually that hard. So look, that super chat is gone. So I want to answer it before it disappears on my side. We've got Bragg Moore in the live chat asking, should I sell my altcoins now when I'm in profit? Even though I was in huge profits and now down on total profit for it, what's your thoughts? I could still go safe out and buy when the market's up again. Look, so the first thing I'm going to say to answer that question is, oh, hang on, look at this. We've got I'm teasing you, bro. look at this. We've got a bit of a continuation on the dump right now for Bitcoin. We're on the 1 minute time frame. Let's take a look at this. We are right at the $65,100 price level. We are pushing below, just about to potentially collapse below 65K. So we could be looking at this dump intensifying. Look, to answer your question, well, I won't answer your question. I'm not your financial advisor. Here's my take. One of my favorite things to do in these crypto markets is make a fuckload of money and be too bullish at the top and then lose maybe 40%, 30% of my profits. Bitcoin's still crashing here. One of my favorite things to do is make a lot of money, like too much, like go from 1,000 to 100,000 like that, and then accept the final 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, I don't care. Accept that final hit. Hopefully it's not going to be more than a 40% loss, and then get out. You know, and the reason I like that is because, first of all, it's like a lesson in life. You know, you'll start over here, you'll go super high, and then you'll still kind of get knocked down, but you'll still be further ahead than where you are. So it's very real. It's a very like acceptable outcome. And, you know, even though you might be bitter that you went from 100K down to 60, you do know that the next market cycle is coming, and from there you're going to go from 60K to 600, and you're going to close at 300, right? So, and that's going to keep happening, 300 to 3 mil, and then you close at 1.5. You know, if you're comfortable with that kind of approach, what that means is that you can really sit through quite horrible losses and stomach them because you know that you're up overall, and you also acknowledge that the real money is going to be made again later on. And what I really think about altcoins at this stage in the market is that if you've made money on altcoins, that's great. But I don't even think that like 10% of the profits that could be made have been made yet. Right? I don't even think 10% of it has come yet. And I'm not a fucking moon boy. Alright? I'm not the kind of guy that like sings the songs of a massively bullish narrative because I want your likes and your subscriptions, and fucking hell, I'd be so much richer if I was. But I'm not. You know? So when you hear this coming from me, you know that there's actually real substance behind what I'm saying. And the reason that I'm able to say it like this is because Bitcoin's dominance hasn't actually moved down for any significant period of time yet. Okay? If we take a look at Bitcoin's dominance here, what we can very clearly see is that since I've been telling you guys I think it's going to go up, which was right at the bottom, you know, it's been a strong trend up. And, you know, you guys who are holding altcoins, you would have made money on this move. You would have made money on this, these, right? Anytime it moves down, that's when these alts typically are moving up, with the exception of when Bitcoin is crashing, right? Because Bitcoin's dominance moves down usually in only two situations, sometimes three. The first situation where Bitcoin's dominance moves down is when the market is crashing. I'm sorry, when the market is sideways. When the market is sideways, you are a little bit bored, Your money is feeling greedy. You just want to rush into the market and deploy your capital somewhere. That's how a lot of people think, and that's when you see Bitcoin's dominance go down. The other time that it goes down is if the price is moving up, but it's moving up slowly, so it's kind of the same as the first situation. You're still kind of in consolidation. And the final situation is the very, very end of the market, the bull market. Everything's just going crazy, right? So we've seen small examples of, you know, the market going sideways and alts moving up. But for the most part, we haven't actually seen a significant downtrend in Bitcoin's dominance. Okay, from this high to this low, Bitcoin's dominance loses 3%. From this high to this low, it's 2.5%. Even this, which is one of the bigger ones, it's still only a 4% drop. Now you compare this to what happened here, okay? And you guys, let me know in the live chat if you were here when this happened. I'm actually curious with your comments, and I'll come back to your question again in just a second. But let me know, ladies and gents, in the live chat if you were actually here back in May and June of 2022. You're actually going to remember that this was the very, very final stage of the bear market. I'm sorry, of the bull market. Well, what am I talking about? We were in a bull market at this time. I'm probably talking about this one. Yeah. This was the last stage of the bull market. So let me know if you were here. This is like end of 21. Where Bitcoin's dominance loses 8.5 percentage points. And this is after it had already lost, you know, I mean, this is huge. This is after it had already lost 33 percentage points, right? And so the reason I'm pointing this out to you is that this is actually where you see the really big gains in the altcoin market. It's when you're kind of late stages in the bull market and Bitcoin's dominance is dropping by heavy, heavy amounts. That hasn't happened yet. So far, we've basically just been in the loading phase. You know, we've basically just been in the phase where we are loading ammunition for all this shit, but no shots have actually been fired yet. You know, we got like little water gun sprays coming out, you know, like we got little like, you know, like that, like nothing crazy, but we haven't had the fucking 50 cal yet. You know, we haven't had the RPG. And I think that's what's, you know, that's where the real money gets made. And I think that in order to get there, there is a very high chance that alts will continue to bleed out. We've already been seeing it. You already know I've been warning about it for a really long time on this YouTube channel. Ladies and gents, smash up the likes if you remember me talking about that. Because I think a lot of you guys have probably been saved from huge losses just by listening to this YouTube channel. Because you guys have heard my very strong opinions on this subject for a very long time. Sergio says no one gives a duck about altcoins. I disagree, sir. I disagree. I actually think altcoins are one of the easiest ways to make money. But most people trade them horribly, and that's why they don't make money off them. You know, and I care primarily about Bitcoin, but more than Bitcoin, I care about making easy money. And that's something I've always said throughout the years. And I do see easy money in these altcoin markets, but not yet, right? And so, you know, and if you guys do remember, do me a favor and smash them up. We are at nearly 1,000 viewers. Remember what I said only like 10 minutes ago? I was like, when you guys smash up the likes, this live stream gets pushed out more. The more it gets pushed out, the longer I'm here for, the more we get to see some price action. It happens straight away. So if you do appreciate this stuff, do me a favor and smash them up. What I've been saying is that, you know, I am expecting Bitcoin's dominance to continue to rise. And if that does happen, you know, it's probably, you know, the flip side of everything I've just said is that Bitcoin's dominance will rise if Bitcoin is crashing, okay? And we already know why. Bitcoin's dominance rises if Bitcoin is crashing because, well, if the safe big asset is losing you money, why on earth would you risk money into risky assets like altcoins, right? You just don't have an interest in that kind of thing, so you won't do it. And that's why these coins get dropped at times like now. It doesn't mean that they're bad, but it does mean that, you know, there's a time and a place, and in my opinion, that best time and the place is in an alt season. So as for, you know, kind of selling and buying back, you know, look, if Bitcoin's dominance is going to keep dropping, and, you know, if we understand that these coins are illiquid, I mean, Bitcoin's down by 2%, Matic's down by 4%, SEI is down by 6%, Pepe's down by 7%, Solana's down by 4%. You know, like, the smallest loss that you're seeing is typically double what Bitcoin has lost. You know, that's really going to tell you a lot about, you know, how easy it'll be to buy those positions back if capital is freed up a little bit. And more importantly, how much Bitcoin you're going to be able to safeguard. Because Bitcoin's dominance has continued to rise and I've been saying it on long terms and short term time frames here. You know, since we were down at these lows, I was saying, look, Bitcoin's at the place where you'd expect another bounce now. That's exactly what happened. I mean, you know, I want to put this in perspective for you. Bitcoin's only gained 1.6% with its dominance, but look at the fucking death falls that we've seen in the altcoin market as a result of that. As a result of a 1.6% drop. I mean, Solana, for example, is down to a critical long-term macro level of support after trading at $188. It already failed the first big support area here at like 170 down to 160. But now it's down by 25%, and it only took 3 weeks. I mean, you know, Bitcoin in that same time frame, if we just go back to this high over here, which was only 10 days ago, is down by 8-9%. So you tell me, Bragmore, or whoever else is in the live chat wondering the same thing, you tell me, sir. I mean, if your money is parked in Bitcoin, you're just far more likely to be able to buy your coins back at better prices. And if that's important to you, and by the way, it's not a small, like, the difference between an 8% loss and a 25% loss is fucking huge. Just do the math yourself. I mean, to make back 8% profit, to make back an 8% loss versus to make back a 25% loss is a totally different ballpark. You know, and it's not 8% or 25%. If you want to make back an 8% loss, you got to profit like 10%. You want to make back a 25% loss, someone help me out here, I'm not good with math, but I think you got to make back like 33%, right? Something bigger. So it gets exponentially bigger and bigger. The more work you have to do, the more you lose money. So yeah, you know, and Bitcoin's dominance is the way you can see the conclusion of the story. It's the way that you can see what this looks like at a glance in one go. You know, which I think is really important. I think that, you know, just looking at this chart can really put you in a powerful position. And it's why I don't really lose money in these markets the way a lot of other people do. It's because the first thing I do is I don't actually put my capital in risky places, but I'm still making the gains. So look, we're going to continue on with the Bitcoin analysis now. That was a very important tangent. Thank you for the question. I will come back to altcoins in just a second. If you are enjoying the stream so far, ladies and gents, do me a favor and smash up those likes. We're going to be covering some really interesting positions. We already did. Some of you guys made some super impressive profits. And again, a very big special shout out to those of you that are signed up to Blowfin. It is, again, a no KYC exchange. They won't ask you for a picture of yourself or your ID. And you will still get thousands of dollars in bonuses when you do start trading here, which is absolutely fantastic. They've built this exchange themselves from the ground up. Most other exchanges you see are white labeled technology. Blowfin is not. So that is super, super cool. I also just made a tutorial for them. So if you want to see how to actually use Blowfin, you can head on over to my YouTube channel. And it is literally yesterday's video right here. Didn't get many views, understandably. Not everyone wants to see exchange tutorials. But if you do, then check it out. Right here. But yeah, super, super cool offers. I have also launched a one-to-one kind of mentorship program, which has been super, super cool. I've actually got another call with one of those members just tomorrow, so I'm super excited for that. It was supposed to be yesterday, but we had to reschedule. So check that out. You can reach out using this step, using this link here. It is expensive, but it's super cool. I've done it many, many times before, and it has been probably the most successful offer I've ever ran in terms of results. So definitely check that out if you are interested. I'm going to come back to you guys in the live chat in just a second here because I need a couple of minutes to go through some super important stuff on my own here with you. Just very quickly before we do, that 65K level was defended. We're going to continue to watch this and see how it goes. I think that if Bitcoin can clear this high, you know, we're back up into the 66, 67K range, but I think that we are going to start encountering resistance. Craig is asking, are we definitely still in a bull market? Sir, I am not sure. I can't answer that for you. I think, like, from my perspective, you know, we haven't even become slightly bearish. You know, like, I don't even think we're slightly bearish at this point. I think that absolutely nothing has changed. You know, I think that if we zoom out, that's abundantly clear. Bitcoin is literally a stone's throw away from its all-time high. It's 12% away from its all-time high. And it's been consolidating up here for over 100 days. The last time that we did something like this was here. And, you know, we consolidated for 220 days, and the breakout from the breakout point to the high was 140%, or from the low to the high was a 200% gain. So that's a 3 times gain. and it happened after the exact same thing that we're doing right now. So I knew that we weren't bearish back here, and I was telling you guys that very, very loudly. Those of you that were here, let me know in the live chat. I'm curious how many of you were here during this 7-month period, watching my YouTube channel, hearing me tell you that everything's good. We're still in the bull trend. We haven't lost important levels. Let me know. I want to know how many of you guys remember that on this live stream right now. Because that was super, super cool. And yeah, you know, I think that we're just in the exact same thing now. Does that mean that we can't not phase at all? Exactly like Cody, I agree. You know, does that mean that we can't slip below this level and that we can't drop significantly lower down into the 40s, 50s, even 30s? No, it doesn't. You know, we can still do that, but you know, I still think that we're very, very strong no matter where we go on this chart. Max Damon says, I was here since the first tickle of 69k. So I guess you're referring to 2021. That's absolutely sick. Yeah, we got I was Sammy, as always. I'm sorry, dude, I can't pronounce your name. I'm not very good with names like that. But yeah, so we had a good few of you that were here back then. You know, and we've seen this all before. So like, I just cannot bring myself to be worried at all by what I'm seeing right now. And I think the market still has never really been stronger. Filippo saying, I got here today just crapping my undies. Yeah, there's no reason for that. We'll sort that out for you by the end of this stream. But yeah, so we can see with the VPVR here, and we did get some more interest on that video, so I will definitely look into making that for you guys. You can see with the VPVR here that whenever we get these big spikes, this is where you're going to start to expect support coming in, right? And so naturally, when the price fell down into this box, we got support. Again, we got support. Again, we got support, right? So clearly an important level. But we can also see that when the price rises up into this level, we get resistance. We get resistance. We get resistance, right? So clearly, these spikes offer reversal levels in the market. But that also means on the flip side that valleys offer big liquidity ranges where you're not going to be seeing much price action. I'm sorry, you're not going to be seeing much consolidation taking place, and you're typically going to see accelerated price moves. So again, you know, and we can get a little bit crazy with this because it is crazy. But if I just start to draw some lines for you here, take a look at this, right? I'm going to make nice thick lines, and I'm going to make them very easy to see. They're going to be this color. That's not super easy to see. What color are we going to make them, guys? Let's make them red. Okay, and what I want to do is just show you from, and I've already painted for you the boxes, okay? So like this is the big valley here, this C-shaped valley. This is where we expect big price moves to happen, and we expect them to happen quickly. And the boxes are where we expect support or resistance, okay? So let's take a look. Let's really zoom in, and I just want to start drawing this with you guys for a couple of minutes to really drive this point home. We have just crossed 1,000 viewers, ladies and gents. That is absolutely amazing. If you are enjoying the stream so far, do me a massive favor and smash up those likes. Double check that you are subscribed as well. This is always very time-sensitive content. We're live right when the market moves, pretty much every time, whenever I can. So if you don't want to miss it next time, then you got to make sure you're subscribed with that bell icon checked. And take a look. So for the first instance here, we break above this range, and we're already proving me correct. Right there. We're moving up really, really nice and quickly. But immediately after that, we're moving down. And then immediately after that, we're moving up. We have a series of small fake outs here, including this one here. But then we're right back to business, moving all the way down, and then all the way up, and then all the way down, and then all the way up. And then we kind of fake out here. So I'm not going to count that one, even though I think I definitely could. Right? We have another small fake out here. And then we're back to business, all right? All the way up, all the way down, all the way up, and down. All right? Another couple of fake outs. And then we're all the way up again. And now we are potentially on one of those all the way down legs right here. That is what I think about this chart right here. And if you're curious about what price range that puts us at, that is $63,000, right? 63, 64. That's kind of that range. And, you know, if we just go ahead and count it, you know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now possibly the 13th, you know, big, clean, flush, quick move between these price levels. Okay, and the reason I point this out to you is because this is literally, in my experience, the single best thing that you can actually identify in these markets, because they are the easiest opportunities to trade, because there's quick money to be made in these situations. I mean, you can see it on the chart in front of you. There's quick money to be made in these situations, and they're very predictable, right? They're very easy to spot. That does something which I absolutely love, and it's called, it makes my life easy. Okay, a lot of people, they join this trading game and they think that in order to make money, they have to do all sorts of crazy shit with crazy indicators. They have to buy meme coins and get rugged and all that sort of shit. You can, and that will work for some people, but I prefer a path which is much easier to predict. I prefer a path which is just easy to follow and where I can just kind of chill. And I'm clearly seeing that these boxes represent big zones where it's easy to expect support or resistance. So, you know, to me, we're already kind of in the middle of one of those ranges right now because we lost this level. And just as we can see, you know, when we get rejected off this level, I missed this one here. Look at this. I missed one right here, right? So when you fall below this blue box, you're going down to the next one. Or when you get rejected off this box, you're going down to the next one. And again, in all of these cases, it's happening quickly. And in many of these cases, we nearly do it. We don't quite finish it, but we nearly get all the way down. So I'm still quite happy with that. There are definitely fake outs, but you know, I think that the overall trend is very clear. You know, and that's something which I actually really like as a trader. It does mean that sometimes you have to wait a little bit longer, but it does mean that you're also going to be taking setups which I think are just a lot easier to reproduce and kind of systemize. And the more you can systemize your trading, the more likely you are to make money long term, and the less likely you are to lose money long term. So, you know, these are very boring, unsexy topics, but I'm talking to those of you that are working with serious capital, okay? And serious capital can mean anything, right? For you, serious capital can mean $100, or it can mean $100,000. But if you are working with something that you deem to be serious, you're really going to be sitting up with your ears perked, listening to what I have to say. And if you're just a little fucking gambling degenerate, then get the fuck off my channel. You don't belong here. That's it. That's all I'm saying. You say easy, like limiting your emotional response, being level-headed, and having patience and conviction is easy. Well, that's the thing. The more you can systemize your approach, the more you can limit your emotional responses, the more you can be level-headed, the more you can exercise patience, and the more you can have conviction. Because in this particular situation, you are systemizing your approach. You're not actually giving yourself the opportunity to fuck this up. Okay? If you don't have a system, if you don't have something that's easily replicatable, then you are way more likely to get those things wrong. And you know what, mate? The best part about this, Max, is that it's so fucking simple, yet it's so difficult to actually do in practice. This, like, keeping emotional, like, things out of your head, like stuff like that. It's so hard to do it in practice, but it's so simple that if you just decide you are fed up and you don't want to be your own worst enemy anymore in this market, I promise you, you just look in the mirror and decide that you're fed up, or you come join me here, because this is a big thing that I talk about. You come join me here in the one-to-one program that I've launched. It's 12 weeks, super tailored, very, very high success rate with our students that we've had here. This is something that we work on regularly. You know, you are going to be able to overcome those issues and not have to face them anymore. So I think that is a really big deal. I can already see some inquiries about that, so I will get back to you right after this stream, and one of my members of my team will. But yeah, I think that's really, really important. It will help you limit, and you know, and you got to have a really robust system. You got to have clearly defined rules. You're going to write them down yourself with a fucking pen and paper, and you got to fucking follow them. All right? And if you don't follow them, then just, I don't know, go burn your money instead. You'll have the same approach. You'll have the same result. That's basically my experience. Yeah, really, really important stuff there. So, you know, I think that's a really nice approach to kind of look at the market. What I want to do now is actually go ahead and remove all of these lines. We don't really need them, because I think that point has been proven. And I think that also tells you what I'm going to say next, which is that I would be expecting support down at this blue box. And that's the reason, that big value that you saw in the VPVR, that's the reason that I actually think that 65k is not super important. And now that we've already lost this level, and by the way, we've had that kiss of death as well. Take a look at this, right? So, and I can actually show it to you a little bit better on this chart here. You know, I had two boxes drawn here. The navy blue box is to represent the larger range, but this smaller blue turquoise box, this is the main level, and you can clearly see, and we're on the 4-hour time frame here, so it's going to be even more obvious on the 1 hour, for example, but you can clearly see that when we lost this price level, we came back up for that kiss of death. We got a little bit of resistance here, hoping to actually recover the level, but we didn't find that recovery, and that's how the dump initiated. So we've already backtested this level on a very short time frame. It's entirely possible that we do something like this now, and that would actually make so much sense. And I also think it's the highest probability move in the market at this stage, but I don't want to jump too far ahead. We'll get to that in a little bit later on in this live stream. That's obviously very, very important. But yeah, I don't want to go into that just yet in this stream. Shout out to Paul from Holland. Greetings and thanks for your good analyses. You're very, very welcome, sir. Thank you for the very nice comment. Thank you all to those of you who have smashed up those likes and subscribed. We are so close to 134,000 subscribers. We're only 27 away. 27 subscribers away from hitting 134k. Flying through here with you guys, so thank you all very much for that phenomenal support. If you are enjoying this content, if you want to see more, if you want to push the stream out a little bit, help the channel out, everything you can do does help a lot. So thank you all very much for the support. But yeah, 63, 64k is definitely that next zone of support that I'm seeing on this chart. And I think that, you know, there's definitely some potential to get some sort of a bounce off this level afterwards. Up back towards 67k, and then that's going to be where the market has a really strong decision to make, where you know, it's basically going to be faced with the decision of, are we going to find resistance here, or are we going to smash through that resistance and get back to setting brand new all-time highs? Obviously it's been a very lackluster all-time high so far, and it's also been very frustrating, but you know, I don't think that's particularly bad at all. You know, I think that that's just part of the game. We're just kind of taking it as it comes. And it's really not too problematic at all. So super, super cool. How many steps am I at? Curious how many steps I've done now, because we've been streaming for about 40 minutes. That should be like, yeah, 4,000 or 5,000 steps by now. Let's take a look. Yeah, no, it's about nearly 4,000 steps. Super, super cool. See what I mean? Like, it's just free steps, mate. Like, that's pretty good. But I do want to just turn this off just for a second here. Because it's like a little bit all over the place. Like, it's kind of loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Okay, and let's continue talking about Bitcoin here. I haven't even spoken to you guys about the S&P 500 or the dollar at this stage. There's huge bits that I want to talk to you about with all of that. Sammy, you are the only one who reacts quickly to rapid sudden market and pushes out live streams for us. Hat off to you. You're very, very welcome, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I've got a very simple life. I'm a simple guy. So I'm able to do this for you guys. I was just hanging out with the dog. And what was I doing? I think I was watching like police videos. I love watching police videos. And then, yeah, like I said, I was about to do my cardio and then I came on stream instead because I saw a little dip here in the market. So yeah, like I said, support down at that 63, 64k level I think would definitely make sense, and that would be something that I'd be looking out for. Again, this is what that really nice clean chart looks like for me. Now, like I said, if we lose this level, then the final big zone of support that I'm seeing here is going to be in the very low 60s, and that's again just kind of been the final place that we've seen bounces come off in this market, right? So when we initially broke out into this range this year in 2024, we got a bounce off this level. When we faked out, it basically came down to this level. We had a nice big bounce here, very, very big bounce. And again, there's a couple different things that will validate an important support level, but one of the big ones is how strong are the reversals that come off this support level, right? That's a really important question to answer and to ask, because when you can see how strong the reactions are, you can start to gain a sense of appreciation for how important that support level is. Again, it's the reason that 65k, which is where we're at right now, is just not that important to me compared to 67 or 60, because we have seen reversals coming off those levels, but they haven't been as big as this one right here, which damn near took us back up to an all-time high. All right, this was a 19% move, $11,700, and it took about 10-11 days after bouncing off this level. So that really tells you a lot about how valid this particular zone of support is. And this is a recurring theme that you'll see all over the place, okay? From here, If we take a look at this, initially we get a nice 7% bounce and it only takes 7 days. And after that, we fall back down to the same price level and we produce a 13% bounce. And again, it only takes about 3-4 days. It really tells us that this is an important price level where you get to produce really big moves. Okay, we had this big move up here, 12% within a day, come back down and then back up over here. We're up by 17% and it takes less than a week. Clearly a very important support level. So this is why I was mentioning to you guys early on in the stream that a lot of people are actually saying 65k is important, 64k is important, but if we lose it, we go down into the 50s. And I was telling you I disagree with that, but I want to tell you what they're saying anyway and why, so that, you know, maybe you disagree with me, you can make up your own mind, right? That's obviously the objective. I never really care about anything that you guys think about the market. I just want to make sure that I can give you guys as much information as I can, as clearly as possible, and then you guys kind of go off and make your own decisions based off all of that. You know, that's always been my take, and that's always going to be how I want to handle this, because it's the best way to do it. All right, you're happy with it, and I'm happy with it. Get your burn back on that treadmill, cardio. I will do, just a minute. I actually, I prefer to kind of, you know, do it like in bits. 40 minutes is good. I'll get back on it shortly. Don't worry about it. You know, but I think that's really important. Okay, so you can start to appreciate now why I myself don't really agree with that 65k hypothesis, and why I think that there's still 2 really solid support levels below us and we haven't reached either of them yet. Okay, so that means 2 things. Number one, that means I still have so many reasons to be bullish. But number 2, it means that, you know, I think that, you know, we've got, it's kind of the same thing actually. We've got multiple levels below us now, you know, and that is definitely interesting to me. Can I analyze Pepe? Yes, sir, I will do. I will do that shortly. Kill the hive mind. It hasn't broken. You need to draw the diagonal support from the lows from months ago. It won't break it. It won't go below 64. I don't know which support you're describing, but let me try and guess. No, I don't know which support you're describing. So give me a couple of points on that line and I'll take a look. When do I think it's coming back up? Well, I don't know. I don't know if it will come back up. Nothing is guaranteed. But Sammy ain't no hamster. My man said get back. But you know, I think that, you know, like I said, these moves are typically relatively quick between these ranges. So, you know, maybe it resolves itself in a couple of days, and then we are able to see. Actually, it's a Friday now, so we might have to wait until Monday. And then we may be able to see a reaction at this level, and if we blast through it, then you'll have the answer, right? But I mean, asking a question like that in particular, I think is slightly short-sighted, and I don't mean anything against you. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. I think it's slightly short-sighted because there's too many variables about going into it, and it also demonstrates that you just kind of like your head's in the wrong place. Like you've got your head kind of buried in the wrong place. You gotta really take a step back, and I think consider asking different questions, and that's why I kind of focus my channel on those things, right? I can tell you what I think, you know, where I think we can bounce from, where I think we can get rejected from, and I can even tell you a rough idea of where time frames would be like, and I've already done that. Like I said, this is a very quick range, so it typically resolves itself quickly, but at the same time, I mean, who the fuck knows, dude? I don't know. I can't tell you. Jose, you are interested in the mentorship. That's amazing, dude. Yeah, if you want to get some details on it, then like I said, you can just reach out to me with this direct contact link, and I will give you the details on it. Like I said, it's a 12-week thing. We're going to be speaking to each other every single week on the phone, just you and me. And yeah, we've seen amazing results from this. Absolutely amazing results. So super, super cool stuff. It's an offer that used to be part of the yearly VIP package, and now I'm offering it standalone, so that's absolutely sick. And yeah, and it's expensive, so please be prepared to invest in yourself. But if you're happy with that, then check that out. And of course, yeah, down here as well, some beautiful bonuses as well. Thousands of dollars on Blowfin, an exchange that's not white labeled, which, you know, could mean, doesn't necessarily mean, but it could mean that it's safer than others. I can't really say, but I like them, so there you go. See what else we got here in the live chat. By the way, the thing you said about writing down your own rules and following them was some real shit. Most people don't realize that they already know what they need to do. They just don't do it. Well, FM Clips, that is the exact problem that I had for my first year as a trader. And by the way, we're 4 subscribers away from smashing through 134,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed and you don't want to miss out on this time-sensitive content, make sure you have subscribed and make sure you've checked that bell icon so that you get notified of when this time-sensitive content goes out. But yeah, you know, you're bang on correct, FM Clips. You are so correct that I'm actually going to pin your comment. Let me read it again. By the way, the thing you said about writing down your own rules and following them was some real shit. Guys, how many YouTubers have you watched that actually told you this, right? They're telling you like which fucking meme coin to buy and other bullshit like that. No one's talking about you've got to make your own rules. You have to do it. Not me, not somebody else. You have to do it. And you've got to follow them, okay? Most people don't realize that they already know what they need to do. They just don't do it. I mean, phenomenally written. I mean, you know, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there. Most of you already know what you need to do. You just don't because you're gambling. And, you know, when you choose to stop gambling is when you might have a chance at starting to make money. That's how it works in this game. I've been there. I've lived this. I was a horrible trader for the first year of my experience here. And then I decided one day, fuck it. I'm going to do this properly and I'm going to see if I can make it work. And I was very desperate to make it work. I had a quite challenging life situation back then. At least to me, it felt challenging, and all of our experiences, we lived them in first person, so they typically feel quite real to us. You know, and I decided to just do it properly, and everything changed. And that's actually how I became famous in crypto the first time. It was because of that. So, absolutely. The price action on the minute is a bit weak, and the volume has dropped, but it looks like it might go up now. Let's take a look at that minute time frame here on Bitcoin. We have seen Bitcoin get up to that high that I described. And I said that if we're able to get above it, then we might go significantly higher. So let's see how this goes. This is obviously a very illiquid chart, so I'm actually going to go ahead and move us on over here. Oh, and actually on this chart, we have gotten above it. So we now have that 66, 67K range of resistance up ahead, which we might actually see the price reach during this live stream. Typically, when you enter a high volatility range, you stay volatile for a long time. So we'll see how that goes. We've just smashed 334,000 subscribers. You absolute legends. Thank you all very, very much. I'm going to go through a couple more questions and then carry on with my Bitcoin analysis. Please put out a meme on base. Hammy Sammy, I think it will moon. Maybe. We'll see. What's going on with altcoins? We have covered that earlier on in the stream. If you are tuning in a little bit late, please just rewind the stream. We've covered a lot of really important questions so far. We're going to continue to do that in the stream, but I don't want to repeat it because many of you are actually watching since the beginning. There's steam coming off of that treadmill. I lost your comment now. What were you saying? Steam coming off that treadmill. Well done. Thank you very much. Do I believe in a chance of a bounce back from there? Well, from here, no. I mean, we are bouncing right now, but I don't think it's going to last. Would I say 63, 62 is the support? No, I would say 64, 63 is the support. 63K up to 64K. Yes, debrief yourself. Every gain, every loss, make rules for yourself, write them down, bullet points to remember in the future, follow your axioms. Guys, I mean, you don't even need me here. Look at the comments that you guys are getting in this live chat. Wow. Absolutely. What this person is saying is after every time you make money or after every time you lose money, debrief yourself, look at what went right, look at what went wrong, look at what you should have done, what you did that actually served you well, write it down, make it bullet pointed, remember it in the future, follow your rule set. Amazing. Thank you very much for the comment. I did want to pin your comment, but I don't want to replace the other one just yet. I will come back to pin that one later on if I remember, but yeah, very, very important. Systemization over degen gambling. You guys are pretty fucking switched on viewers. I appreciate this. Thank you. I really respect this. I mean, what other live chat on YouTube are you gonna see people talking like this? It just doesn't happen. So, yeah, that's really, really good. Like I said, you guys don't even need me here. You guys have got this figured out pretty well. I get that you do live price action analysis, but you also cover long-term optimal DCA allocation. No, because DCA is a super passive strategy. So all I say about DCA is the simple strategies work, or at least they have worked pretty much every time. And, you know, I actually, when I talk to friends in real life, one of the things I say about DCA is you can make it fun, right? Like one of the ways to make it interesting with DCA is you can simply choose to buy half. Like, let's say you got $100 and you only buy every week. Well, you can buy half. Like you can buy $50 every time you have a green week, and you can buy $150 every time you have a red week. And what that means is that on average, you're going to be putting more money into the market when it's dropping, and you're going to be putting less money into the market when it's going up. So you're still getting the DCA exposure that you're looking for, but you might actually average a better entry price. And just like everything I say, I'm not talking to the fucking degenerate schmucks in this space. I'm talking to people who are trading with real money, who are putting real money into the market. And what I say about that is that you've actually got to go back and test these things yourself. You know, you've got to go back and open up the chart and look at every Monday on the chart or Sunday or whatever the hell it is that you want to buy, and look at if what I just said would work for you, or if what you've thought about would work for you. Because for some people, they're going to see that actually it makes so much more sense to buy $150 worth of the coin on a red week, but $50 on a green week. But you might actually look back and see that actually there are so many green weeks, and it's always worth putting money into them, or generally worth putting money into them, that you wouldn't want to handicap yourself. You know, so you've got to work this out on your own and see what works for you. You know, you might decide that actually you're only going to buy every month at the beginning of the month, not every week. Or instead it's going to be every day, and you're going to automate it, right? Like, there's a lot of different ways you can play this, and you've got to figure out what works best for you, and you've got to sit down and actually look at it. You've got to put some fucking effort into it, because a lot of people, they come into the trading space thinking that they're holding a fucking lottery ticket, and all they have to do is sit here, hold their fucking dick in their hands, and wait for something interesting to happen. And that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. You got to put a little bit more effort into it, and it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of money on the line. Why wouldn't you put more effort into it? And you might actually get paid quite handsomely on the other side. So to me, that is always going to be most exciting. Yeah, so that's what I think there. Back to the Bitcoin chart. We are seeing a very, very small dip here. I really don't care about this price action. I'm going to go back to some longer term price analysis with you all on this Bitcoin chart in just a minute. But I want to go through these comments a little bit more and just catch up. Thank you all for smashing up those likes. By the way, we are at 400 likes. We've just smashed through 134,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all the support. If you are enjoying this stream, thank you very much for showing it. Again, if you don't want to, totally understandable. Is the bear market back? Is Capo right? 10K incoming. Actually, I have one of Capo's Telegram posts right here, and he says 65K is the last line of defense. So he's, I guess, a little bit bearish, but he's not actually that bearish. What is he saying? He's saying this right here. So we've got 65K as support, and below that he's saying the same thing as me, 60 to 61, but your liquidity zone is 57 to 59. We haven't actually gotten there yet. I'll talk about that in just a minute. I've also got a good few charts of my own that I want to show you guys as well, including this one right here, which shows that the S&P 500 typically averages about 7% returns in 1 year, but in the last 2 weeks, it's already up by about 5%. So the S&P 500's performance has been amazing, and despite that, Bitcoin has been dropping. So we'll talk about that as well. We haven't even gotten there yet. This is obviously quite a packed live stream. There's a lot to cover. But yeah, I think that is definitely super interesting. Let me just go through your comments here and see what else we've got. We've got buy the dip from one of the viewers. Did I already cover Solana? Very briefly, I'll cover it again. If not, can I please do an analysis and give insights on some play? Well, I can't give you insights on plays, but you know, I can definitely tell you what I'm looking for. But yeah, no, I will look at Solana in just a minute. I just want to go through some of the other stuff before I get there. Let's see what other comments we've got, and then I'll just come right back to the charts. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing, though. Yeah, it's just kind of messing around here. Nothing particularly crazy or interesting going on. That with guys. We got some requests for sushi, some Litecoin requests. We'll take a look at those altcoins in just a bit. But let me go back to my analysis here and cover some of this with you, zooming out a little bit more now, getting a little bit longer term with the analysis here. We've covered the importance of 63, 64. We've covered the importance of 60. Capo already mentioned it on that chart that I showed you. I want to cover this with you as well, which is that when you do come down to important levels like 60K, it is actually quite likely that you get these very, very nasty breakouts, which are actually fake outs. Sometimes it happens very quickly with wicks. Sometimes it happens quickly, but it's shallow. Sometimes it happens slowly and it's deep. But all of these things, everything happening here below this big yellow line, this is all just kind of liquidity grab zones. And, you know, it doesn't actually really mean anything for the market. It's just an opportunity for you to panic and an opportunity for you to lose money. So, you know, I think, you know, request for BlackRock, bro, controlling price. Why don't influencers talk about that? Well, you know, I don't really know about that, so I can't really talk too much about it. Sushi is delicious. That's my analysis, dude. Sushi's the best. It's not the best. Indian food's the best, but sushi's like second best. But yeah, no, I think that's important to understand about these support levels is that, you know, if you do go slightly below them, you are still just kind of looking at liquidity zones, and I think that you know, that's just where you get kind of little spikes. Sometimes they're slower, sometimes they're bigger, but it's still kind of the same. And that's you know, and then you start to see recoveries. So that is super cool. Mo L, Mexican food is the best. Are you the Mo I'm thinking about? Yeah, so I think that's what I have to say about 60. Now look, if we start to recover, we've got to get above the 67k level, okay? This is the key level that we've got to reclaim now. It's been pretty heavy resistance, so I was saying, you know, you don't really want to see the price dropping below it. Unfortunately, it's happened now anyway. You know, we still haven't got the daily close, so that's one of the key things I want to talk to you about. You know, there are still 6 hours at the time of this live stream right now. There are still 6 hours left until this daily candle closes. So, you know, that's plenty of time. There's still, you know, a good 2.5 hours until the S&P 500 stops trading. So, you know, that's also something that's worth talking about. Again, we'll get back to that in just a bit. But yeah, I think, you know, it's not all over. You know, we didn't get that daily close yet. We didn't even get the weekly close yet. So, I don't want to start overreacting. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, you know, it definitely could be resistance up ahead now at 67k. So we're going to have to see how this behaves for Bitcoin. If it does turn out to be resistance, then, you know, resistance is where rejections happen. You guys are hopefully very familiar with this on this YouTube channel by now. It's something that I speak about a lot on this YouTube channel. Plain and simple, it is that when you hit a support level, that is typically where you find support. And when you hit a resistance level, that is typically where you find resistance, okay? It sounds silly for me to say it, but, you know, that's what it is. And you can choose to ignore it. That will be at your own peril. Or you can choose to pay attention to it, and your bank account might thank you for it. So, support is where support happens, resistance is where resistance happens, and now 67k is resistance, and it's a strong level in the market. It's been drawn out by my boxes, so it's clearly strong. You know, and so, you know, kind of from that perspective, there is definitely some trouble ahead for Bitcoin. But it also means that if Bitcoin's able to get up above it, I mean, look at what happened here. The instant that Bitcoin got above the 67k level, it shot up by 7.5% within less than a day. You know, and actually even less than that. I didn't even calculate it properly. It was more like 8 hours. It was like 8 hours after the breakout. We're already up to $72,000 pretty much, right? So that really tells you a lot about just how important this 67k level is. When we fell down here and we bounced back up, we bounced all the way back up to 71k. The next time, we bounced all the way back up again to 72k. In fact, we may have even gone slightly higher, right? So very, very clearly, this is an important level where when you get above it, good things happen. But if you're below it, big rejections can take place, right? So we really need to keep that in mind as we continue to move forward here. But of course, it does mean that everything can be back on if we recover back above this particular resistance level. We have a lot of people talking about food in this live chat now. Don't tempt me because I'm hungry. But yeah, you know, I think that's important. And of course, yeah, on the flip side here, we've got these support levels. Now, look, if we lose 60k with conviction, I do think that, you know, there's a much bigger drop to be coming, and that would probably take us down to the low 50s. Purely because, again, it's the exact same thing I was already drawing for you guys. And if we take a fixed range volume profile, you'll see the same thing. You know, there are big valleys here. You know, if we lose this level, right? I mean, like, there's a big spike taking place here, and below the spike, you've got a massive valley on the VPVR here until you get even lower down to 52k. And I can do this on a much larger time frame, and you will see the exact same thing, right? Take a look at this. Let's go for all of this price action, anything above 20k up to now, and you will start to see it's slightly different on this chart, but it's still the same thing. Right, take a look at this. It's gonna get a bit confusing, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some lines down. I'm gonna put one line here, another one here, and another one here, and I'm just gonna make them red, because otherwise it might be a bit confusing what I'm talking about. Okay, and this is very clearly, I'm putting a line at each of the spikes. Now let's go ahead and remove the fixed range volume profile and come back, and very clearly, what was I saying, ladies and gents? When you lose these levels, whether it's this level here or this level here, it's the same thing. When you lose these levels, there's a big valley down, in this case even lower, down to $48,000 is where we actually see the big spike. I believe there was a smaller spike up here at about 52, but it really just proves my point, which is that if we do start to lose this low 60, high 50k level with conviction, this is definitely going to be something that drops significantly lower, in my opinion. And that is something I have been hoping for since before we even got up here. I've really been looking forward to that happening. I've really been saying I want it to happen. I think it would be a great place to take some trades in the market. I think it would completely wash out all of these altcoins. I think that the opportunities would be face melting. There would be a lot of panic. And I think that, kind of from a very realistic perspective, it's also going to allow these ETF buyers to finally buy, right? I mean, the narrative for so long in this space has been that these ETF people are going to make we the people rich. And it's just silly. That's just not how it works, right? The wealthy people with legacy finance and all that stuff, they don't come in and make the poor man rich. It just never fucking happens. It's never happened before. It ain't gonna happen now. That's just my take. You can disagree with me all you like. If you do, I have a 100% effective vaccine to sell you. You'll believe anything. So I don't think that that's what we're looking at here. And what I think is, there's actually, a very nice opportunity for those ETF buyers to get some really interesting buy levels in this market where retail starts crapping themselves. In fact, this comment section has already proven a lot of what I'm saying, because we've had people asking with, some genuine panic here, is the bull market over? Are we entering a bear market? Stuff like that. And we're down by like $9,000 from the all-time high. And it's nothing. I mean, the drop is nothing. It's just not a big deal at all. But people are worrying. Now, when we're still in the range, all right, we're still above 60k. We haven't even lost some, two of our really important support levels. We got Paul Andrew in the chat saying it's over. You know what I mean? Like, this is how people are feeling right now. And that's, we haven't even seen a big crash yet. So if it does happen, you can already start to gain an idea, a sense of how much more panic there will be if we actually start losing important levels. If we actually start collapsing below 60k, because not only are we going to drop probably significantly lower, but it's probably also going to be quite quick. Senza is saying, well, our alts are wrecked, so that kind of stinks. Yeah, your alts are wrecked, but you should have been able to see it coming too. I mean, I don't mean to be harsh to you, but like, what the fuck else can you do now? You just got to look at reality and start moving better moving forward. I've been in your position a million times, dude. I've been in your position a million times. And the only thing you can do is, I mean, if you want to, you can feel like shit for a couple of days, but you just got to do better moving forward. And it's going to be a slow grind up. The money that you had before, kiss it goodbye. Imagine that your starting balance is what you have right now. And build up from here, slowly, properly, carefully. And if you do that, maybe you have a chance, and if you don't do that, then good luck. I can't comment. But that's how it is, right? And we've known about altcoins being in danger for a really long time on this YouTube channel. Those of you that have been watching this channel for a long time, you're going to know about that. With the Bitcoin dominance analysis we were doing again, I actually covered that very in depth earlier on in the stream. So if you have missed it, please go back and rewind the stream. And listen to that. It was actually one of the first big topics I covered in this live stream. And by the way, I think that, there's still so much money to be made in altcoins. I think we're not even like anywhere close to it yet. So, I think that we could be seeing some really, really good stuff in this market. So, so that's what I think there in terms of these big gaps. There would be a lot of panic. It'd probably drop very, very low. And it would be great buying opportunities for smart money. Dumb money, retail money would sell for sure. Without a doubt, dumb retail money would sell. And it would just be such an amazing opportunity for institutions that now have an on-ramp for them to actually get in. Now, do I think that's actually going to happen? Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to go anywhere near this this low. But if we do, that would be great, and I would love to see it. I really would. I would love to see it. It would probably mean that, you know, summer's going to be a bit boring. We're going to have to wait until the end of this year for, you know, an all-time high or something like that. But who cares, man? I mean, there's much more money to be made on the other side. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy. If you told me I could make 100K now or 500K in 6 months, you know, everyone's choosing the 500 in 6 months. So, and that's the way I see it. At the very, very beginning of this stream, you know, someone was talking about how he regrets not selling a few weeks ago. And I said, I think I'm going to be very happy that I'm still holding in a few months. You know, these dips are designed to make you feel the way you're feeling. And if you do it, then you are losing at their game. Am I walking in place? Yes, sir. I'm on a walking treadmill. It's under my desk. I'm getting those steps in. Where are we at? It's only been 12 minutes since I turned it back on. Let's smoke shisha, bro. Bear market is over. I'm down for that, mate. I'm always down for that. What are we at? Well, 1,100 steps. So we've done about 5,000 steps now since starting the stream. I am a little bit tired though. I don't really know why. I guess I've already done quite a bit today. Haven't even done my cardio yet though. Gotta order some food in though. You guys are talking about Persian. What is it? 𝐁𝐥𝐥𝐶 kebab, something like that. I don't know. We got a lot of talk about food right now in the live chat. Tempting me too much. Where can I find information on your one-on-one service? Yeah, it's right here, dude. In the description below. The same description of this live stream. Come down to this link. Direct contact to me. It's the only way to directly contact me. And yeah, I will give you all of that information right after the stream. Matt's just getting in. A little summary. No, sir. I cannot give you a summary for this stream. There's too much we've been covering. Please rewind. Watch it on 2x speed. And you will learn a lot. This has been a very, very good stream. This has been a great stream. Thank you all, by the way, for those of you that are tuning in. I still have so much more to cover with you guys. If you are excited for that, do me a favor and smash up those likes. How many of you are new to the channel today? Because, you know, sometimes I get surprised, right? I get on these streams and so many of you have never seen me before. And it's like, what? How? Like, where were you? How have you not seen me before? Curious to know. Is the treadmill small? It is kind of small, yeah. The treadmill is kind of small. So I got a lot more that I want to cover with you guys. I've covered with you guys the upside. If we recover above 67k, then this becomes a fake out, and we probably smash through all-time highs pretty quick if it happens soon. If it, you know, happens a little bit longer, then maybe we fuck around, whatever. I don't really know. I can't see that far into the future. I can't see into the future at all. I'm only telling you what I think might happen based on probabilities that I see. But yeah, 67k, very, very important level we got to reclaim. 60k, kind of final frontier if we lose it. And, you know, liquidity zone stretches all the way down to about 56, 57. If we lose it, then, you know, very, very big drop incoming, I think. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Yeah, we got a couple people that are new. XRP1. XRP1's in for a bit of a nasty surprise later on. But, yeah. Never seen you. Good stuff, though. Thank you very much, Check. Appreciate it. Matt Brown, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool to see so many new people in these streams. I want to talk about your shisha flavors later on. We'll stick to the topic for now. Yeah, so we've covered all of that. You know, and I've already covered the upside for Bitcoin, right? I mean, if we do smash through the all-time high now, it's been over 100 days of consolidation. You know, again, I just want to give you guys a rough idea of what we could be looking at just to kind of put things in perspective. And I did say this in the last live stream or the last video, but I think this is so important that I want to say it to you again. This is really important. Please rewind this a couple of times if you need to, if you need to kind of really understand this again. Drop a like, bro, in the live chat. Thank you, dude. Matt Brown, thanks, man. Subbed and like, great content. I appreciate it. This is going to be huge. This is going to be really, really important. This next thing I'm going to say, which is that back in 2023, we had 7 months of consolidation, And with that 7 months of consolidation, we ranged in a fairly tight price range. This was 22%. Right now, we've been in a price range that stretches 22%. And we had, from entering this price range until leaving this price range, we had 220 days of sideways, okay? We had 220 days of sideways when we left this sideways range. It was the same fucking span. It was 22%. I mean, so similar. And the breakout from the low was a 200% move. Okay, that's what we saw last time. So again, a plus 200% gain means a 3 times increase. And obviously you can do the math. 25k up to 74k, that's a 200% increase. I'm sorry, 3 times gain. And so far, we've got the same range again in terms of like how big it is. It's about 22%. And since we've entered this range, it has been just over 100 days, about 105 days, 106 days. So previously it was 220. Now it's 105, 110, let's say, right? So we're doing about half of the time. And, just as a fun thought experiment, let's say Bitcoin only gets half of the breakout, right? So before, it was a 200% move. Let's say from this low, we only move up by 100%. Okay, so that means we double. So 100% up from here puts us at $120,000, right? And that's if we only produce half of the gain that we saw last time. But here's the kicker. Here's the crazy thing, okay? So far, hopefully what I'm saying is making sense and you're actually following me, because I think this is pretty easy to understand. We were sideways for 220 days. Now we're sideways for 110 days. Both ranges span the same height. They're both 22, 21%. When we got that breakout, we went up by 200%. Let's say we get the breakout now, we only go up by 100%. We're at 120k, okay? I think that makes a lot of sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the live chat and I'll clarify again. But here's the kicker. Here's the crazy part. Last time, when Bitcoin got this breakout, look at how much resistance Bitcoin had to deal with. All right, look at how much price action Bitcoin had in its history that it had to deal with as resistance. There was so much resistance on this chart after the breakout. And we can look at this slightly differently, by the way, right? We can actually, the numbers are going to work out exactly the same. From the breakout point to the high, we were up by 140%. So from this high to this target, we're up by 63%. So again, it's roughly half. So if we produce, only half of the move that we saw last time, what we also need to keep in mind is that this time, we're doing it with no resistance up ahead. Bitcoin has never traded in this range. When we had a lot of resistance all over here, we had a lot of reasons to expect that Bitcoin is going to struggle in this range. And it kind of did, but not really. It actually did really well. This time, we will have no resistance. Bitcoin has never traded here, And I think that's a really important point, that you can actually get a lot more aggressive with this stuff and it doesn't even start sounding stupid for quite some time. From here, if we pull off the same move that we've done, up by 200%, that puts us here at about 170, let's say. And it just makes so much sense that this is achievable, because last time we had resistance, this time we don't, And so to me, that's a really strong point that potentially indicates that we could be looking at a big breakout to come. And I think that is so important in this market. To be able to trade it, there's massive gains that can be made. And of course, you already know the deal. You've got to make sure that you're doing that with the right exchange partner. Blowfin, linked below right here, is going to give you thousands of dollars in bonuses when you sign up using my link. And it's a no KYC platform, meaning that you don't need to use your ID or a picture of yourself. They're just going to let you to trade. It takes less than I made a tutorial on it, and when I was recording the tutorial, it took me less than 2 minutes to go from sign up to deposit being credited, and I'm ready to trade. I was able to make a trade within literally 2 minutes. It was actually shocking how fast it was. And you will get bonuses paid out based off your trading, so that is super cool. Definitely well worth checking out in this market if you're interested in free cash bonuses to kind of accelerate your trading journey. That's exactly what they're offering there. Super cool. Well worth checking out. Now, back to this market. Again, if we're looking at a nice kind of breakout coming, then we've got a very similar setup And I think that it definitely is looking quite promising from those perspectives there. How long do I think this dump can sink us before breakout upward again? I don't know. It's very, very hard to say. It just depends on when we find support and how strong the bounces are. And it's too many variables that you have to predict in order to answer a question like yours, which is why I don't bother. I have no way of answering it accurately. And it's just not even a question I ask personally myself, because the markets will move in their own time. Like, it's just not even worth asking, in my opinion. They're just gonna do what they're gonna do. Smoky Fat saying, I'd call this resistance, lol, what the fuck? Look, there is resistance up until the all-time high, right? But after that, it's only psychological levels. We had resistance from 25 up to 30 as well. So this is the same thing, from 60 up to 74. It's the same thing. We've got little areas of resistance, but it's just not that bad. I mean, we're still in the range. We're still up. We're still doing well. So I think that's important. Now, let me go over some traditional finance with you guys before I start looking at altcoins like Pepe and all of that stuff. We just had a really important little segment here in this live stream, and if you did find that useful, do me a big favor and smash up those likes. Again, double check that you are subscribed if you haven't done so already. Super time sensitive content, you know the deal. Let me talk to you about the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 here on the 4 hour, it's not loading, bear with. The S&P 500 here on the 4 hour gapped up beautifully here on Wednesday a couple of days ago, and it is now still holding that high very well, which is definitely interesting, because it kind of begs the question of, well, why did Bitcoin drop, right? Because the S&P 500 is so strong, so clearly there might be a little bit of unique weakness for Bitcoin. We're actually just dropping down right now again. Take a look at this, just pushing lower, so we're going to see how this goes. We'll keep switching back to the Bitcoin chart here and taking a look at this, but yeah, S&P 500 definitely holding up quite well over here. I think that if the S&P 500 can continue on Monday, which is when this market reopens, it's going to close in 2 hours from now exactly. If it can continue higher on Monday, that's going to be at least something which doesn't hurt Bitcoin in and of itself. But if it starts dropping on Monday, if it starts looking bad on Monday or throughout the last 2 hours of today's session, I think that could probably be quite harmful for Bitcoin. There is obviously a big gap here, and everybody likes to talk about how gaps get filled in these markets. So if you think that gaps get filled in these markets as well, then you might definitely expect some downside on the S&P 500. And like I said, Bitcoin, hasn't really had a reason from the S&P 500 to start dropping, yet it has. And so I think that if things do get bad with the S&P 500, that would probably be quite, dangerous for Bitcoin. Obviously, there has generally been a very, very clear correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. And the reason that I've been telling you, I think that correlation exists. Let's take a look back at Bitcoin here, just sliding a little bit lower. We just opened an hourly candle just now, 9-10 minutes ago. We've just opened a brand new hourly candle, and it is already sliding a little bit lower. Let's see where we are on the 4 hour. Yeah, we got 2 hours left on this 4 hour candle. And the reason I've been telling you personally that I think Bitcoin has correlated quite well with the S&P 500 is because the S&P 500 is, obviously a collection, largely the ones that carry it, of tech stocks, and like Nvidia and so on. And while the safe index is making money, people are feeling greedy, right? And when people feel greedy, they want to take on additional risk, and that's when they start looking at things like Bitcoin. Now, you and I, we are crypto degenerates. We live in crypto, so we don't really see it that way. But the big money which moves the market, it does see it that way, okay? And so, typically when, the safe kind of markets are making you money, you're going to be happy to take on more risk. And by the way, we see the same thing with Bitcoin all the time. It's the same thing I say all the time. Many of you who've been subscribed are going to know about this very, very well. We have clearly seen in this market that, when Bitcoin is performing well, people want to buy altcoins. When Bitcoin kind of pauses and it looks a little bit boring, that's when people want to buy altcoins. But until and unless that happens, alts are not that interesting. And that's kind of what we've been seeing, right? When Bitcoin starts trending up very nicely, aggressively, people drop their altcoins. When Bitcoin is crashing, people drop their altcoins. In both cases, it's because they don't want the additional risk. That's basically it. When Bitcoin's moving up, you don't want the additional risk because you're already making money. And when Bitcoin's moving down, you don't want the additional risk because you're already losing money. So you only get interested in taking on additional risk when the safe asset has made you a lot of money for a long time and it's stable, and it's gotten a little bit boring. Obviously, it's slightly different with the S&P 500 because just typically if the S&P is strong, Bitcoin's strong. But I think that is a very, very important note for this live stream that I wanted to get across. We are seeing Bitcoin continue to slide lower in this market right here, just crashing down again to that $65,000 price level. So let's see how the market is able to interact with this particular price zone. We are getting through a lot of the key bits of analysis that I wanted to cover with you in this stream here. Let's see if we get to watch some interesting price action for Bitcoin. And before we carry on there, let's look at the dollar now, because the dollar has also been very interesting. It slid lower, and I think that's why Bitcoin was able to produce a little bit of strength. But since then, it has moved back up, and it's moved up quite strong. And I think this is actually the number one reason that Bitcoin has dropped. And in fact, what I really think is happening here, and this is something that you'll really get a sense of appreciation for if you look more closely at the S&P 500, is that, the S&P 500 is not actually particularly strong. It's just that a few of the leading stocks in the S&P 500 are strong. Okay, for those of you who don't know, the S&P 500 is an index of 500 stocks in the United States. 500 of the biggest ones, mainly tech, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me. So if that's the case, and the S&P 500 is basically just being led by Nvidia, Apple, a couple of the others, then, it's a little bit of a misleading picture, because it doesn't actually mean that the rest of the stocks that comprise of the S&P 500 are actually looking particularly strong. All right, and we're seeing that story being confirmed by the dollar because Bitcoin clearly started to drop as the dollar rised up massively. Okay, but the thing is that the dollar is now at a resistance level. Now the dollar doesn't necessarily behave exactly like crypto or other things that we analyze, but it does tend to respect resistance levels pretty well. The thing is over here we had a really strong attempt at breaking this resistance level. Over here we had another attempt at breaking it, and now we're already back up, right? So one of the things that's happening is that while previously the dollar took, quite a long time to get up here, 213 days, the next time it only took 153 days, and now it's only taken 40 days to get back up here. So it does look like the dollar is trying to break out here. How that's happening, I have no fucking clue. It doesn't make sense to me why the dollar is so strong. Maybe it's to do with interest rates and inflation and stuff like that. But I think that definitely could be something which is worth paying attention to, because if we do see the dollar rising up to its next important resistance level that I'm seeing at about 109, 110, then, it could definitely place Bitcoin very, very low. And that's something which, I think is worth paying attention to in this market here. So, I think that's probably the primary contributor to Bitcoin dropping right now. In most cases, when Bitcoin drops, it's not because Bitcoin did anything bad or because anything bad happened in Bitcoin. It is mainly just because, the dollar is working against it, the S&P 500 is working against it, stuff like that. So that's the traditional finance outlook that I wanted to cover with you guys. Let's move on now to some of the altcoins. And I think one of the biggest ones that I've been getting requests for in this stream is Pepe. Pepe is setting a low right now by the looks of it. Yes, it is. Pepe is dying pretty hard right now, just live on this stream from the high that it set only about 2.5 weeks ago to now. It is down by 37%. That is crazy. That is very, very high. Where are we? Are we high on this stream in terms of steps? In terms of steps, of course. Let's see where we're at. 1.7 kilometers, about 3,000 steps. So that's pretty cool. Go for a little bit longer, then I think we'll turn it off in just a sec. Litecoin sucks, I promise. Sammy, please tell them I agree. Litecoin sucks. Well, I actually think Litecoin's sick, but it's been boring for years now. But yeah, if we take a look at Pepe here, it clearly is in a bit of a dangerous spot. It does actually have support right now, but I think the bigger areas of support are still beneath it. I want to take a look at the fixed range volume profile, and we've got the value area high right here, and we've got a big point of control right here. So I think these would be two of the key levels on this chart for Pepe. It's still far away from them. These are the kind of potential bounce zones that I would be interested in. In this market, I think that if the market can bounce off these levels, that would be great. Ultimately, this is a meme coin, so I don't know. I have no clue. This is very, very hard to look at. But yeah, I think there could probably be some more of a drop to come. Also, on the flip side, on the way up, there's going to be a little bit of resistance now, right? Because the more support we analyze, the more support we develop, the more resistance we're going to have on the way back up. So you've got to be careful of that as well in this market. I think it's just basically going to do whatever Bitcoin does, but much worse, and that's already what's happened here. Let's look at Doge while we're on the note of meme coins. And again, it is falling down to a very important level of support, but it's not there yet. This could actually be a very nice level to start picking up some Doge, and it would probably represent a $63,000, $64,000 Bitcoin. So in my view, it would probably be a nice place to start looking at it as well. And in fact, I'm actually going to set an alert for that, because I think this could be an interesting potential buy on Doge. What am I doing here? I think this could be an interesting potential buy on Doge, and I don't know if I'd take it. I probably wouldn't. It's not the kind of trade I like, but I'm gonna set an alert anyway. And the reason I actually like it is because this box is pretty clean, right? It hasn't actually overshot the box by much, which does make it relatively easy to kind of choose a stop loss. So I guess I could do something that looks a little bit like, yeah, I'd probably target here for a first target, and my stop loss would be right here. I got a 2.5 risk to reward. It's okay. It's nothing crazy. Up to the next zone of resistance, I get a 4.8% risk to reward, which is a little bit better. Not the kind of trade I'd take, but I'm setting alerts anyway. I'll take a look at it. I'll let you guys know what I'm doing. ARB is dying at 88 cents. Wow. This is gone. Yeah, this is just gone. What have we got? We've got Phil down by 7% below its support area. It's lost a few important zones of support now. It's lost this diagonal trend line here. It's lost this horizontal trend line here. But is it down to an important level? Yeah, definitely. So this is definitely a zone where, I think it might be reasonable to start expecting a little bit of support for Phil. Whether or not that support will come, I think actually depends on Bitcoin. So, I'm not super optimistic about it anyway. Let's look at Matic. Slid below its support level. It's got more support below, but it still looks relatively far away. This is not a chart I'm interested in analyzing. 40 cents on Cardano in its major support zone. One of the best support zones on this chart. I think if Cardano loses it, it is lights out. It's going to be down by like another 25% easy. But this is a potential bounce zone. Is it something I would buy? Hell no. It's dying against Bitcoin. It just lost one of its most important support levels against Bitcoin, which you can very, very clearly see on this chart. Let's go logarithmic so you can see this a little bit more clearly. This is a horrible chart against Bitcoin. Could it do something like Ethereum against Bitcoin, where it loses its most important support level, but then it spikes up? Yeah, of course it could do something like that. Will it? Well, that's a pretty uncomfortable bet to be taking, I think, in this market. So I wouldn't be looking forward to that personally. Solana, again, we've already looked briefly at Solana, but let's take a closer look at it now. This purple box is a pretty nice level for Solana. It's been an important reversal zone for both the upside and the downside here, and we are down to it right now. So this is definitely a potential support zone for Solana. Again, I think it's going to be at the mercy of Bitcoin, so it's not something I'd be wanting to go long on right now. But I think that there are some more interesting support levels that could open up beneath. It's just that the wicks get a little bit crazy, so that's uncomfortable. Potential exits up here at about 170. If it does move up there, I think that's where some people are going to be looking to take profits on Solana. Let's continue to move on. Let's look at DOT. Yep, same thing. Nothing crazy. Link. Right in the middle of this big range here. And it's got a nice support level that could start to open up for it a little bit lower. But right now, I would not be optimistic about anything. And it is still... this support level is still, about 6.5% away. So, I think that's a lot of the core analysis I wanted to go through in this video. I'm not going to go through any other altcoins for now, unless you have something which has a distinctly different chart. This is just a random selection of altcoins that I've chosen. It doesn't represent anything. I just think that it gives me a nice general view of the market, and that's why I look at them. But if you guys have anything in particular which is different to what I've covered, then please let me know in the live chat. If you have any other questions that are kind of more macro or Bitcoin related, I'm very keen on talking about those. I'm not going to go through any more charts that are similar to what I've already covered. If you have a chart which is different, please tell me that it's different and I will go through it. But most charts are going to look basically the same right now as everything I've already looked at, which is that it's either at support or close to support. But for the most part, none of these charts look good. And the reason none of them look good is because Bitcoin is looking weak. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this stream, ladies and gents. Smash up those likes if you have. Make sure you're subscribed. We've just smashed through 134,000 subscribers today, which is absolutely sick. Those of you that have subscribed, double check that you've got the bell icon checked so that you actually get notified of these videos, these live streams when I put them out. Alts have been destroyed. Yes, they have. In fact, there is a video I wanted to make about how the bear market never even ended for altcoins. And that is something which I'm definitely happy to give you guys a bit of a look at, and even some evidence on it, obviously. Bitcoin is just right there at the low as we speak at 65k. Let's see if we end up losing this level. I guess if we lose this level, I'll stay on for a bit longer, but if it gets defended, then, you know, it might just be a bit of sideways. So nothing too crazy, nothing worth really being streaming for right now. Yeah. I think that's about 3,500 steps. It's been about another 40 minutes on the treadmill. Crazy how quick 40 minutes on the treadmill goes, right? I'm going to close that off now because this got tiring again. Whew, there we go. Oh, damn, it's 10:30. Wow, I didn't think I'd be live this long. I haven't even done my cardio yet. Or eaten. Yeah, I gotta get some food in. Let's see what happens with this price action, and then I'll kind of make a decision on if I'm staying live or not. RPL is up 25%. What's RPL? I don't have an idea of what it is either, but it's on Bybit. Let's take a look. Oh man, this is not a chart that's nice. I don't know why people look at this and say, yeah, I want to trade it. You know, like, this is like a super fucking dangerous chart. It's not something that I can, it's not something that I can find myself super interested in personally. Yeah. How are we feeling in the live chat? Are we feeling bullish or bearish? Let me know. I think Ondo looks like a shit chart. Well, I looked at it in the last live stream and I don't remember anything about it. So I guess that tells you that I think it's a shit chart. It looks horrible, yeah. This was actually one of the best charts I looked at in the last live stream, but it fell below the support level that I outlined. So yeah, this looks like a horrible chart now. This looks really bad. Yeah, someone's asking what's Ondo. I don't even know myself, dude. It's just another shitcoin, I guess. Standard procedure. YFI. Yeah, I'm not gonna be going through any more altcoin suggestions. If you do have an altcoin you want me to look at, you can send it to me on Telegram. I'll look at the chart before I put it on stream. It's all just the same chart. So if there's a different chart, I'm interested. But if not, I don't really want to go through it anymore. I've already covered like 5-10 altcoins. You know, like they're all roughly the same. Night City Music, how are you, brother? I'm doing good. Thank you very much. How are you, mate? Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking, dude. Uni has a different chart. Let's look at Uniswap then. I mean, yeah, it has a different chart, but it's not easy to analyze it. Actually, it's not that different. No, this chart's the same. It's just like Cardano. but it hasn't fell down to its support level yet. Yeah, support down at $8.90. Resistance kind of here. Doesn't look like a good chart to me. Looks like it's just about to get rejected by resistance and slide lower. But honestly, it's a hard chart to analyze. I don't really know. It's hard to say. Yeah, it looks like that 65k level is getting defended here. So I think I'm going to be heading off for this stream. Actually, I mean, it could definitely collapse. It could even collapse minutes after I go off stream. But I don't want to keep staying on here. I've got a couple other things I need to do today. So I'm probably going to be, I got to do an airport run as well. So I'm probably going to be heading off for this stream. Yeah. But yeah, ladies and gents, thank you all very much. Got here late, gonna have to rewind. Yeah, mate, thank you very much. Shout out to Mitch Stu, a very, very regular viewer of these live streams. Appreciate your presence, dude. Thank you. Yeah, just rewind, dude, and catch up with what you missed. It was a good stream. It was definitely a good stream. Yeah, some really, really good parts that we've covered here. But yeah, I'm gonna be heading off with that. Just gonna put my food order in, just chicken and rice, standard. Not interested in anything else right now. What car will I be driving to the airport? The Range Rover. I'll be doing the Range Rover today. It's a Range Rover thing, isn't it? Going to the airport. What's the first thing, when you've been on a flight? You've been on a flight for 5, 10, 16 hours, whatever. You don't want to be in a Ferrari. You don't want to be in a Porsche. You want to be in a Range Rover. You want to kick back, massage seats. Nice little welcome to Dubai. All right, guys, I'm off. Thank you all very much. One more time, smash up those likes if you haven't done so already. Double check that you are subscribed and take advantage of the beautiful offers available to you all with the links in the description. We smashed through 500 likes. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very, very much for taking us there. Yeah, huge bonuses available to you all with the links in the description. Definitely worth checking out. And I will see you all in the next video. Live stream, whatever it is. Cheers.